Hello and welcome to the Planet Knit podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, also known as Silvani on Ravelry and Silvani_knits on Instagram. Um, it is Saturday, January 16th, 2016, and I thought I'd sit down and record. I know last week I said that I was thinking about, doing it every other week. And next week I won't be able to because I'll be out of town. So I thought this week would be a good time. Plus I have stuff I wanted to show you, so that's always good to do. Let's jump right in. Let's see what's in orbit, which is the works in progress section. I'm personally still working on Huron. It's the sweater and miles and miles and miles of stockinette. I am on the second sleeve, and I'm almost done with it. I'm literally just a couple rows away. I know it looks super short, but I think that it's gonna be more of a drop shoulder type thing, I mean, it's a yoke sweater, but there's gonna be room in the arms, So then the other the other sleeve is here. So I've got two. And then I've also got the body, which I showed you last week. So lots and lots of stockinette. Haven't started the color work yet. That'll be coming up shortly. So that's my whip. And really, I mean, it's not my only whip, but it's the only one I'm working on. So it's the only one with exciting progress. But in the finished objects section, so what's landed, I have a little bit of spinning that I did this week. And I also have a ton of Hexipuffs. And I know I mentioned this, that in December I did a Hexipuff advent, and I did 25 of them. And I did one last week that I showed you. But there's also a ton more that I've done, just over time. And also a friend of mine sent me a bunch of Hexipuffs and mini skeins as payment for a commission that I did for her. So I'll show you all those. But first, let's start with the spinning project. I spun, it's not very much, it's about 17 grams, it's 76 yards, and it has dog hair on it. It is faux cashmere, which I don't know French, so correct me if I'm saying faux wrong. F-A-U-X, is that? I don't know. It's pretend cashmere. Let's Americanize it a little bit. It's pretend cashmere because I can't pronounce anything. And it's actually made out of nylon, which I think nylon is a super amazing material. We use it in engineering a lot, and we use it in knitting a lot to strengthen our socks. It's a pretty awesome material. It's got a lot of good uses. But it's, as you can see, it's super fluffy. It's also blindingly white. So let's shield that just a little. Maybe a little more. Which way is the sun? I have self-facing windows. So anyway, I just spun it. It's about fingering weight. It's a 2-ply, and maybe this is better. It was a quick spin. I really enjoyed spinning with it. It's not as grabby on as wool. It's you can tell that there's no little scales on the individual fibers catching, you can tell that it's if you took it lengthwise and pulled, that it would come apart. You can just tell. And it did a couple times. Because I wasn't putting enough twist in. So it takes a lot of twist, or it did for me. I put it on my Kromsky Polonaise on a really high drive ratio, which means that for every time I pedaled, a lot of twist got put in. So it was, it was a good spin. I really enjoyed it. It drafted really easily, which I think is probably a consequence of not having the scaly. The fiber that I had, and let's see if I can dig it out. I actually saved a little bit. It's under here. I saved a little bit because I wanted to keep some for, posterity, for how it actually looks. So this is how the individual, oh, that's not good. something black behind it. It's a little better. It's in a bag, but it's you know, you can see how fine the fibers are and how crimpy they are. They're super, like, I don't know, it almost looks kind of like polyfill. I mean, it's kind of the same idea, but it's not really, but, you know, it's not. It's a nylon, and I think that's a type of thalidomide, but I'm not a chemistry person, so I lose track of that stuff pretty easily. I'm more mechanically oriented. But anyway, this is my finished object. My plans for this are probably to play with dyes on it, and then also make it into Hexipuff. So, or multiple Hexipuffs, because I have like enough yards for probably 4. So maybe I'll split it into little mini skeins and 3 or 4 mini skeins and dye in different colors. I don't know. I don't know yet. We'll see. So that's that. Now I have this. Wait, I got a small box, and it's just a box from yarn that I ordered once, and it's like keeping full of Hexipuffs. So I'm just gonna go through these, and some of them I remember what they are, and some of them I don't. This one I remember. Penguin Soup in the Twilight Sparkle colorway. It sparkles. I'm just going to go through them. So if you don't like Hexipuffs and hate them and want to not see them anymore, then you should probably start skipping. This is Dream in Color Smooshy? Yeah, Dream in Color Smooshy. I made socks out of it. I just made them. You know, this is impossible color to get to show up. Show up! No? Okay. It's a blue-green. It's only showing up as like blue-gray. I don't think I made this one. This one from Nicole, who is Mercantile519 on Instagram and Ravelry. This is Regia. This is the one I showed you last week. This is also Regia. I did not make this one. This is one Nicole sent me. This yarn Nicole sent me. So, yay, Nicole, I love you. This one I did make back before I started doing Kitchener and three, like a Jenny's, you know, fine or cast on. This one is Copper Centaur Studios. Didn't make this one. Think I made this one? Don't remember. I think this was one of my Advent ones. Didn't make this one. This one is made from yarn from a sock blank, so you can see how squiggly that is. I'm not a huge sock blank person. Don't remember what this is, but I have a shawl knit out of part of it. It's way more. I don't know if it's my monitor or if it's the webcam not picking stuff up, but this is super, like, this is an emerald green. I think it's showing up more blue. Whatever. Excuse me. I think I made this one. This is Knitflix Palette. This is something that I don't remember. It's 100% merino. This is the yarn that I had to replace on my Swedish socks that I showed you last week. I don't think I made this one. This one. Another one I didn't make. This one. This is, I did make this one. This is Ella Ray. Didn't make that one. This one I made. I got an email. It's one of those industrial strength German sock yarns, but I can't remember it. It's either Elsadina. I think it's Elsadina Exosolar in the Space Between Galaxies. Oh, this one matches my socks. Anyway, it's I know the colorway is Ridiculous Patent Radar Head. Oh, why am I blanking on them? Anyway, this is the Mad About the Girl sock pattern. So if you go to my project page, you can see the yarn that I used for that. If you are super into it. This one looks like one of mine, but I don't remember making it. Definitely made this one. Don't remember making it. Rainbows! Woo! Fabulous Hexipuffs. I think this episode is just going to be called Hexipuff Parade, because that's basically what it is. I think this is Elsadina. It might be this. Doesn't quite look like it, though. Didn't make this one. I made this one. I have been making I really need to sew these on. Like, I have a lap size blanket that probably would be a little bit bigger. I don't know how many I even have. I made this one, but it's not my yarn. So. Some of these, like, people give me mini skeins, and, oh, this one is Devil Bunny Dye Works. Yeah, so a lot of these this one I didn't make. You could tell because it has ends. That one's from Nicole. It's not hard to do anything with the ends, so it's better to keep the ends out if you want to sew them on, but I don't. I usually just grab a new one. Or, Walker's colors. Yeah, I know which ones I made, but I don't remember. Like, I think a lot of the yarn I got from other people. It's kind of cool. So, if you spy your yarn, I hope you're like getting super excited about it and being like, oh my god. Oh, this is Sped and Chloe Fine. In case you're wondering how stuff knits up, it's basically like having a million little swatches. These are all done on size 3s. I made this is also hair, and then Copper and dog hair on all my Hexipuffs. Copper Centaur Studios. It's really deep colors. I love Copper Centaur. She's out of Indiana. She's a Trekkie like me. More Hexies. All the Hexies. This is Lorna's Laces. It kind of came out smaller than some of the other ones. This is Mad Tosh. In the Tosh Merino Light in the colorway Georgia O'Keeffe. Someone sent me this yarn as like, you know, just like a mini skein, and I love the color so much. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like gray, brown, and teal, pops of teal. I don't know, it's amazing. I love the color so much that I went to a local yarn store and like bought it, a skein. I was like, I want this right now. This has to be my life. And that skein is still in my stash. Like, it's still like in the shrine of Precious. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I have some ideas, but I'm just like, I don't know. So, anyway. This isn't mine, but it's pretty. This is the alpaca sock yarn. What's it called? Pacapeds in the Caribbean chocolate colorway. See, some of these, you gotta be getting something out of this. I don't know what this is. Let's see there. More Hexies. This one's cool. It's kind of like a watermelon colorway. I think this came to me from Nicole or Amelia. Amelia might have given me some Hexipuffs too. I don't really know. I'm just kind of piling them behind me. This one is Nick Pick's palette. Don't know. This one's cool, but I don't know what it is. Rainbow. Neon rainbow. This one has sparkles. I didn't make this one either. More Hex. Am I boring you yet? Think of how boring it is to make all these if you're bored just looking at them. I'm just kidding. I've made a lot of Hexipuffs, and mostly they're just kind of like my in-between project. They're kind of like, ooh, this one is Gypsy Sheep Socktails. In, I don't remember the colorway. There's a bunch that have these colors that are just different tones, and I don't remember. This one I made socks out of as well recently. I don't remember what it is though. Yeah, they're kind of like a quick in-between project for me, and I like it's nice to have like a little break from, you know, big stuff. And I promise I'm getting close to the end of the box. It also kind of uses up a couple of, a couple grams of stuff that's left over. What I really like to do is like only knit one Hexipuff out of my leftovers, and then just mini skein up the rest, and send them to people, trade them with people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that seaming Hexipuffs onto my blanket is going to be on my to-do list in the near future. Yeah, I don't even know where they all went now. That was smart. Use your brain, Sarah. Anyway, I'll find them later. They will all show up. Oh, this is Zauberball. And I don't know what any of these are. Okay, these are the last ones. And I don't see any. Oh, there's one. Oh, this one's hand spun. Good thing. Save the best for last. I spun this yarn. It's pretty. Okay, well now I have a bunch of Hexipuffs, and that's not even like half of them. So I'll put those away later. What else do I have on my list of things to talk to you about? Let's see. I had a request last week to talk about some space news, so I will talk about that. Let's see. So, I mean, there's been stuff going on. It's kind of just the usual, so I haven't really gone out of my way to talk about it, unless there's something I missed, that's like not the usual going on. I mean, right now there's some guys on the space station, and they're doing, normal maintenance stuff, and there was a spacewalk the other day, so that was kind of cool. Recently, one thing that did come across that is pretty interesting is that Congress gave NASA $55 million with the direction to build deep space habitat, like something you could use to get to Mars. And they gave them a couple years to do it, and I think a couple years to come up with a prototype, which is basically to do it. And I'm just kind of like, $55 million, that's not very much money, but to NASA it is, because NASA's been operating on such a low budget for so long. So that's kind of something that is cool. I mean, I'm excited that, that NASA's getting more money, and it's an election year coming up, it's going to be an election year soon. I mean, it's not really, it's just, I don't know, it's not super soon, but I'm just like, stuff is going to change, and I always get nervous about getting my hopes up about space when there's going to be an election, because some candidates are more interested in spending money on fixing problems on Earth, which I have opinions on, but I don't want to get too political. Other candidates are more interested in defense, and it's just, neither party is super interested in, scientific advancement. I mean, depending on how you vote personally, you will probably have opinions on whether your party is better at science than the other party. I think both, I've met Republicans who are like, oh, well, Democrats just want to do social welfare and not put money into science. And I've met a lot of Democrats who have said Republicans don't believe in science and, blah, blah, blah. So I personally don't vote a party line. And I usually just look at the options, decide which one's the least crappy. We kind of, with the two-party system in America, it's kind of like not a lot of choices. Um, so, I mean, I guess my take on all this is like, it's great. It's great that Congress is giving NASA money, but whether or not this isn't the first time that Congress has given NASA money with the direction to do something with it, and I wouldn't be surprised if nothing comes of it. I would be sad, but I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm hoping that this is like, I think NASA's really trying to build off of like a lot of the space stuff that's been happening. Star Wars came out and it takes place in a different galaxy, which it's kind of a space opera action movie. So that kind of people are thinking about space. And then The Martian came out and people are thinking about space. So I'm kind of hoping that like we can get the ball rolling, but it's always difficult because there's always people who say like, well, why aren't we spending that money on things that are happening here? And what a lot of people don't understand is that like NASA does a lot for the Earth. Like NASA does a ton. They recently launched JASON, which is an oceanographic topography thing. They've done a lot with like climate studies. They've done a lot with like weather forecasting, and weather control, and predicting stuff like forest fires and all that. So I mean, I think that there's a lot of problems that could be solved if we were more interested in going to space. And I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to space, you have to be very sustainable and very like closed system. Like you can't just mine resources in space. I mean, you can, but there isn't a whole lot compared to what there is on Earth. So you can't just like rely on that entirely. You have to be really good about saving and using what you have. And that's something that I think that a lot of people would be very interested in applying. It's always cheaper to use what you have than it is to then it's always cheaper to use things that you have than it is to just take things and process them from the environment. So that would be something that even a capitalist should be interested in. So I mean, I think that there's a lot of resources in space that we could use as well. But I don't want to get on like a huge tangent about it, but I could talk for like years about this, literally. So I have, like I spent a lot of time talking to people, and I find that usually I don't convince people who are already have their mind made up. So I mean, I guess if you have questions about things that we could do in space, or if you have like questions about something that we've done or haven't done, and why haven't we done this, or why won't we do this, or why aren't we doing this right now, I can try to answer those. But I think that the political climate plays a big role in whether or not, we do a lot more in space. As sad as that is, that depends on that. It does. So I think that even people who like space don't necessarily want to see more money go to it. I think a lot of people see it as a frivolous pursuit, and it's really not. It really isn't. So yeah, that's I guess the space news section. And if you have prompts or questions for me, just fire them off, and I'll talk about them next time. In life stuff, this has been like a kind of a rough week for me. I don't want to get super depressing on the podcast, so I'll probably just go over the positive stuff. But yeah, like if you talk to me personally or have seen, I mean, I don't usually post about stuff on the Book of Faces. I usually don't. I post on stuff on Ravelry, but I post a lot, and I post in a lot of different groups on Ravelry. So I mean, that's maybe not something you want to look into. But just someone who was close to me passed away, and it was kind of not a cheerful week for me. So last night I decided I was going to go out and have a fish fry because I really wanted to, because you know, I just wanted something to cheer me up. I kind of wanted to get out of my moping cycle and just start, you know, actually living. And we went to our local geek bar or pub, you know, restaurant, 42 Ale House, and in St. Francis. And we went there, and on Friday night we played Quiplash, which is a game. Basically, it gives you a prompt, and then you say something, and then everybody votes on what is the funniest thing. So I kind of kicked butt, and it was pretty great. Like, I said some things. I won't repeat them because they're not PG or even PG-13. Like, it was a pretty crude game, but it was a lot of fun, and it was pretty hilarious. And a lot of people like started, like, once I said something, like, these people started repeating it as a joke amongst themselves, and I was like, yeah, I'm funny, yay. So that was kind of a good thing. The other thing is that the Packers play tonight, and we are playing the Cardinals, and that's supposed to be difficult. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we win, but I mean, I won't be too surprised. It's pretty competitive at this stage. So American football, yay. Um, I guess that's really the majority of my news. I hope you enjoyed my Hexipuff slideshow, and I'll probably see you in 2 weeks or so. By then, I should have a finished Huron sweater, and actually, next weekend, I'm going to give it to my dad. So I'm pretty sure that means that you're not going to get to see it finished unless you look at my project page. So I can put a picture in the show notes. So that's kind of that. And then I'm also hoping to finish Neldareth between now and then. And also a couple more spinning things. So hopefully you'll have that to look forward to, or, you know, just not look forward to. I don't know. But thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with my Hexipuff parade. I hope you saw a yarn or two that you really liked. And I will see you next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I will see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your knitting and enjoy all the space stuff that's going on. Talk to you later.